What's up, guys? I want to make this quick video real quick. It's going to be called Ruthless Relationship and why it's important and why I believe it's heavily going to be a factor for your life. I'm not going to put any names, but I want to make a video because it's nothing bad, but it's what I've noticed within myself and what's given me the ability to, work possibly harder than anyone can and do 3, 4, 5 times the result of someone else. And I had a talk with this lady. It's kind of interesting. The thing is, because I used to know her like a while ago. We were, good mates, I guess you could say. We were talking a lot, and I came to the conclusion of she seems like a good person. She's got good morals, good, upbringing. But then the more I thought about it, the way we would communicate, the way we talk, can either fuel me or drain me. And a lot of time, what happened, it felt like it was draining me. Like, when I'm talking about draining me, it was like, it's whether I have to put like 3, 4 times more energy, like whether it's like through communication, through talking. And when I realized that, I was like, I didn't realize it back then, but now like I'm realizing it now because I'm becoming more aware of it, because I understand what the difference is, I would say, compared to where I used to be, for sure. Because I remember I was just like the type of person who's like, people please, And like, if something is uncomfortable to talk about, I would avoid it. I would not do it. And I would rather sit in the areas of like the comfort and not do anything bad about it, but I'd rather like brush it off. And I believe this is one of the biggest problem between relationship. Now, when I say ruthless relationship, it's what you're doing internally to make sure that the relationship you have with people is going to drive you towards your goal. This is something I learned from one of my mates. His name's Zach. So very important. And man, when I was talking to her, this is the first time in like a couple months, because the reason I guess I could say quote unquote block her is because I wanted to make sure that all my focus is put into one chip. That is like towards my future. And that's why I had to tell or cut out a lot of people, not just her, but even my mate who I've known since I was a little kid. He lives right next door to me. It's hard, like, especially if he lives right next door. A lot of times he can just walk over to my house and catch me off guard. But the relationship between him and I was that I had to tell him the hardest thing, which is like, hey man, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I block your phone number. I told him straight up, I block you, bro. It's not because I hate you. I told him I don't hate you or anything, but I want you to understand that my purpose, my vision is a lot bigger than the pleasurable things we're doing now. And I don't want to sit in a life where I'm, doing the easy, comfortable, the comfort things, the parties and, the gambling. And I'm like, I'm not that person, man. I'd rather be aligned with my vision and sacrifice the relationship we have. Or I could let it be and brush it off and be like, yeah, you can come anytime you want. You can, sit there while I get distracted and we'll talk about something else and all this stuff. And I knew that was a big leak in my life. So he knows and he respects. Like, I think he was mad at the time, but now, like, I don't know if he respects it now. But, we're barely talking. I probably will talk to him, like, once a month. And it's not even face-to-face. It's, like, over the phone. We'll talk over the phone. Sometimes not even once a month. Cut it less. Probably once in every 3 months now. And it's so, like, little that the communication between us. And Alex Hormozi talks about, the levels of sacrifices you need to make to get to your goal. And, like, what are you willing to give up? You got to understand. And I heard this from Kevin O'Leary. He said the difference between signal and noise. The noise is like the distraction, and the signal is like, yes, this is what I actually need to do and double down and focus on. So anything that is a noise, it's pulling me away. The signal is pulling me towards the goal. And of course, the ruthless relationship I had to go through was just tell him straight up and block him and remove him out of my life. Sometimes I did it quietly, and I did it to a lot of my mates in my life. Like, when I mean like a lot of mates, I mean like good mates from high school as well. Like, I haven't talked to them in ages, a year, 2 years now. Like, some of them I haven't even talked after high school. So do I care? Not really. Does it bother me? Not really. So whatever. But I know just that I'm willing to put myself in a position to only have this vision and this focus and my attention towards this. 100% it's going to grow. And just going back a little bit here, the relationship I had, I don't want to say any names here, but it's casual. Like we would talk, good friends. But I noticed every time we would chat, like all I'm doing is I'm trying to people please. It's really bad. Like I noticed like that's part of me. Like I'm trying to satisfy the person rather than me. And when I'm putting other people in front of me, I'm not helping myself. So it was a tough conversation, you know. Despite we haven't talked in months, she decided to give me a call and talk. And I noticed like, man, I've just wasted like a bunch of, I don't want to say waste, but I learned something in the moment as well about myself even further that I'm able to articulate and correlate to who I am, that made more sense about the personality traits that is hidden from me and I don't even know, and I was only found out because I had to go through that experience, which I would say like it's kind of a waste because talking, not really I guess doing the job, the work in my days, because I was just talking about things to her. And man, the biggest thing is definitely like that factor was like it felt like very draining. Like the energy to talk to her was very draining. Not that I'm trying to rush her to talk more, but she's like a very quiet person, and whenever I talk to her, she'd like brush it off or she wouldn't reply and stays quiet, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. So let's talk about something else. Same thing. I would ask a certain question, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, maybe the next question will. And then same thing, no response. It's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay. I mean, then I'm thinking like, man, truth and honesty is so important to me, bro. If nothing runs on truth and honesty, then I don't want to talk about, like, I don't want to, I guess, force myself to put myself in a position where I'm trying to help you change. But the whole point was like, hey, stuff that relationship stuff, let's just talk about business, life, etc. What do you want to achieve? What's your purpose? I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay. All right, so what do? I feel like the old version of me would keep pleasing the person, but this version of me is like, fuck off. Not in a mean way, like, fuck off, like, not in a way where I'm like, go away from my life, or like, please exit my life politely, that I don't want any more burden on my shoulder, so that I'm having to carry a lot of, like, I guess like an extra pressure on my back. So I told her, like, yeah, I didn't tell her, like, physically, like, in words, in the conversation, to fuck off. But, of course, saying it politely in a way where, one, you're not ruining the relationship. Second, you're giving her, or giving the person to grow in a way. And third, for future references, if anything can happen, people can talk back about you just because how you treated one person is very important. So that's, I wouldn't say it's people-pleasing, but it's leaving in a respectful manner that you're able to create future relationships just because you are a person of high standards. And I didn't physically tell her to fuck off, like go away, but I just told her, like, it feels very draining. It feels very energy grabbing, and if all my energy is poured into you and I'm like doing every effort and you're not giving the effort back, then I'm really thinking about the future, like how much more energy do I have to put into this? How much more factors of me do I have to pour into this kind of like quote unquote relationship? But yeah, it's not something like I noticed like this new version of me is like, okay, I'm done. You know what? It's either I block and just move on, act like nothing happened, or I keep on satisfying and pleasure the person, but not caring for my own needs. So I did the first option. I was like, all right, you know what? Definitely, look, I do like the fact that, where you try and look for a solution or talk to me, but I don't know, man. I'm not that type of person. I think I'm the wrong person you're talking to, and I'm not the best shot at this, and definitely I want to give you that space to grow because I've asked you, and even though I've stayed and given you the chance to talk to me, but maybe it's not I'm not that person, to be honest. So, but yeah, it's a big lesson that I learned, and this ruthless relationship is definitely what has helped me. But the levels of sacrifices, and again, yeah,